Take comfort in the bonds you share. Accept the pain when the time comes to part. Press on, for joy and sorrow walk hand in hand. Beyond Mount Garrick lie the hills of Amber, beneath which run hidden veins of mineral wealth. Or ran, at least. Mayhap they are spent. Or mayhap the ringing of hammers can yet be heard below.
Luckily for us, a village lies right in front of the entrance. We can go here to ask the locals about what we can expect from the road ahead. Speaking to a kobold known as Zunzun, we learn that this place used to be called Garrick. Miners used to gather here, but after the flood, everybody left. So Master Gengen borrowed this village and turned it into a trading post. The path to Nabaath Areng is not as clear as it is on the eastern side. Most of the direct routes have collapsed and there isn't a safe way in. Asking some of the local Maud reveals that there is a trolley system built here in the hills of Amber. It used to travel between all of the settlements, but now it is sealed away behind a gate which prevents it from being used. The reason Zunzun didn't tell us of the trolley is because that gate is impassable. It used to open up with the help of the Talos, gigantic stone golem structures, but they do not work and he hasn't seen one working in years. If we head east to Mount Byron Mines, we may run into some miners. They will know more than he does. At Mount Byron Mines, we can see that this place is abandoned, but there are signs that show it is at least being maintained to a certain extent. The tracks are in working condition, the trolleys are clean and suitable for travel. There is even a lukewarm cup of tea inside of a nearby building. The levers which control the tracks are also too heavy for any mortal to move. They were designed for the Talos that Zunzun mentioned before. These golem-like beings are strewn across the mines, but they are no longer active. We are to assume that at one point in time, they were active and numerous. Without being able to use the Talos, these trolley carts will not move. Maybe we do not know how to repair them, but maybe those who are maintaining the mine know how. Maybe we should go and ask them. We have been feeling their presence for quite some time. We go behind a warehouse to the northwest and indeed find a miner. Before we can ask him any questions, he attacks us. He forces us to fight back, albeit whilst holding back as much as possible. When returning to the others, they have confronted what miners they can find. They believe we are here to strip their machinery for parts, hence why they used force to stop us. But we are here to see if there is a way to make these trolleys work. The people immediately changed their demeanor upon hearing the word trolley. They love speaking about the trolley and will do anything to help it get moving again. If we want to know what moves the trolleys, then we should speak to a man known as Magnus. He knows everything and anything about the trolleys. To that end, we need to move to their minor town, Twine. In the past, this town was one of the most bustling miner towns in the hills of Amber, but ever since the trolley stopped working and everything that had been mined dried up, people stopped coming here. The only ones who remain are those who are destitute, delusional, or they have nowhere else to go. We speak to this Magnus, but he is a drunk. When asking about the trolleys, his face shifts and tells us to leave. He tires of being asked about the trolleys all the time. He won't even tell us why it cannot be used. There is more to his tale, but we shall not dig any deeper. Instead, we ask around the town to investigate why it cannot be moved. We speak to Jerick, the guy from earlier, and he reveals to us the story of this place. In the beginning it was a mining hotspot, but eventually they mined all they could safely do and brought back everything they could. In the end, they were forced to stop. Eventually, the people of Nabaath decided to use the Talos. The Mistel who worked on the Talos were brought here, and with their help, the mining industry boomed once more. Twine sprung up around that time and was named for the bond twixt the native Ronso and the newly arrived Mistel. After the flood, the Mistel fled, taking their knowledge with them. 15 years ago was when the last of them left, and now there is nobody left to repair and operate the Talos. When they left, all the life bled from the town. That was until Magnus returned with his wife. They initially left to give their child a safe home, but in the end, the Sin Eaters killed him anyway. He died hoping to see the trolleys in working condition, and they slaved away trying to make that dream a reality. Now we know the story of the trolley. Without the Talos, the trolleys will never work. They have a Talos that needs repair. If we'd like, we can examine it. Urian J is also examining the Talos to see if he can find out why they aren't working. So far he has deducted that the veins which pump the ether around the body have all but been shot. They need to be restored, and the Talos needs to be suffused with ether. This, in theory, should make the Talos move once more. He needs stone that is conductive with ether. There are creatures of living stone known as debitage. If we slay some and bring their hides back here, it should serve as material to repair the Talos. Using the stones we brought back to him, he makes the sufficient repairs to the Talos and bathes it in ether. Yet it does not stir, meaning that it may not be its veins that are malfunctioning, but its core. They knew that maybe the core was the problem. They tried to create a countermeasure for this very reason. The materials for creating a Talos core can be mined here in the hills of Amber. 3 years ago, they tried to get some, and that was when she... Jarek runs away, telling us that this isn't his story to tell. We'll have to hear it from Thoth or someone else. Thoth agrees to continue the story and tells us to gather round our friends. Magnus's wife was a miner, the greatest prospector. When the Talos' core started malfunctioning, she was the first to go out there to find more, but it was impossible to find any ore out here. They had all been mined dry. That didn't stop her. She kept mining and mining until a tunnel behind her collapsed. It took them 2 months to find her body. Magnus has never been the same since then. Thancred looks around the room, noticing that Magnus isn't here. If Magnus isn't here, then there's only one other place he would be, in front of his wife and child's grave. He tells us the trolley will never run. It is better if we dismantled it for scrap. Now piss off. He'd better not find us back in this town ever again. Thancred looks at the grave and asks what were their names. His wife was named Agna, and his son was named Skuli. Being here with them is better than going home. It hasn't felt like home ever since he lost them. He tried to drown his sorrows at the bottom of a bottle, but the bottle is never deep enough. No bottle will ever be deep enough. Thancred knows the same feeling. He might have not lost flesh and blood like him, but he didn't have the chance to. He was an orphan and had no family of his own. That wasn't until Louis Soir took him in and raised him. He finally had a family, and then his mistake robbed a young girl of hers. He tried to make amends for his shortcomings, but it was never enough. He let her down. That is why he refuses to let her legacy die. In the end, all we can do is press on, for those we have lost, for those we can yet save. And that requires the Talos. He is our only hope of reaching Nabaath Areng. He sits there in silence before chuckling to himself. Ha, what rubbish. He returns to drinking in front of her grave. Thancred reconvenes with the rest of us, unsuccessful in his endeavor. Minfilia tries to comfort him. No matter what he believes, she is not gone. She can still bring her back. Thancred says nothing and only pats her head before moving to the entrance of the town. Even if Magnus won't help us, there is only one path that lies before us. We need to repair the Talos' core. Even though they have tapped the veins dry, we can try at a place known as Nuvi's Leavings. If we look for a man known as Guthon and tell him that Thoth sent us, he may help us out. For this endeavor, we decide to take Thancred along with us. His heart is in turmoil and his thoughts are clouded. Taking him on this mission with us may ease his distress. Nuvi's leavings is to the south of Twine. When heading there and speaking to Guthon, he says the same thing Thoth did. All the veins are tapped out, and it's unsafe to mine any further without the aid of the Talos, yet we cannot take no for an answer. There is another way, however, a trade secret they used to do. They used rockworms, or as we know them, goblins. These rockworms can fit into cracks we could never reach, and occasionally they come back with something of value. The leonine we need to make the Talos' core. It usually only amounts to a few flakes, but we do not have any other options. To draw out the rockworms, they use smoke bombs to force them to come to the surface. Doing as he said, we slay all the rockworms we can find, and between us, we have actually garnered quite a haul. But it's going to take Guthon a while to appraise these. It's time to get comfortable. As we wait, Thancred willingly speaks about Minfilia, and how she used to be a miner. After her father died, Philemine took her in and taught her to mine. He believes they were both trying to fill a void left behind by losing a loved one. He used to spend his youth in the quicksand, and he would have a wave of relief after seeing her return home safe and sound, followed by a wave of guilt that he wasn't there to support her. He could never bring himself to even talk to her. Instead, he became every drunkard's best friend. We can't imagine she thought too highly of him back then. She once called him a wine-sodden dwarf rat, which he admits was quite accurate, but that was a lifetime ago. He now has another chance to do things right by Minfilia of the First, and he will not squander it again. Guthon calls us over, saying he has found something. It is leonine, and aside from the few broken pieces, there is one fine specimen. It has been decades since they've found anything this big, but that's not all. There is an engraving written on it. It says, "To my beloved Magnus and Skuli." It was a gift to Magnus from his wife. She must have spent her last moments carving out that message, hoping that he would find it. It must have been fate that brought us here, no other explanation. He requests us to take this leonine to Magnus before we put it into the Talos. For 3 years he has believed that she died for nothing, but with this, we can prove that her sacrifice was not in vain. We find Magnus sat by their grave and show him the leonine with the engraving on it. He cannot believe what he is seeing, but it is truly right there in front of him. He hands it back to us, telling us to take it. It was us who found it, us who need it. When he looks at the rock, all he can see is... He sits down again. We at least hope that he comes to see the Talos stir to life. His wife would have at least wanted that. The Talos has been made ready to receive its core. When placing the core in and suffusing it with ether, the Talos comes to life. For the first time in 15 years, a Talos is in working condition. Magnus did as we asked and saw her dying goal be achieved. All he can do is stare at the Talos, lamenting that she left him for this wretched pile of stone and rubble. He drops his bottle on the floor and approaches the Talos. He slams his head against its leg and pounds it with his fist over and over. This worthless pile of earth, and yet I can't. Everyone can only watch this scene unfold, yet Minfilia seems to take it all to heart and runs away, preferring to sit at the edge of a cliff. Urianger notices that she left and followed her here. He asks her, "What troubleth thee, child? She shouldn't be here. She doesn't deserve any of the things we've done for her. She is just a burden. If tomorrow came and she was gone, then it would be better for everyone. Thancred most of all. He'll never admit it, but she can see it in his eyes. She wishes that he would just say it. Say that he hates her, that he wants her dead so that our Minfilia can return." Urianger stops her by placing a hand on her head, telling her that none of this is her doing. It was he who sent our Minfilia to the first, he who caused all the subsequent reincarnations to suffer as they did. It is a sin he will bear until his dying day. Yet he cannot dwell on his regrets. Those who strive for a better tomorrow have to make difficult choices. Nothing was ever achieved without sacrifice. The one she mourns for does not hold it against her. If she were here, she would not want her to suffer. She would tell her to seek her own path and find her own purpose. A truth that he himself was slow to learn. She only needs to have faith that all will be well. Both Thancred and us are hiding behind a nearby building and watching this unfold. Does he still have no words for her? Not today. Meanwhile, in the Crystarium, the Exarch is watching our journey in the Ocular, and Emmett enters the room unannounced. He has found our current endeavors tedious, and the light from Amh Areng has been making him feel weak. He kept his distance and slept instead, something he is quite fond of. Speaking of sleeping, he has never seen the Exarch retire to his bedchambers once. How does he keep his eyes open? He ignores Emmett. The Exarch is always so guarded in their interactions, yet he does not share these interactions with the Scions. This is because he doesn't want to ruin our budding relationship. He also doesn't want to shift our focus from the main target at hand to Emmett. We are not some kind of weapon to be pointed at his enemies. With every passing moment, Emmett becomes more and more fascinated with him. Who exactly is he? Emmett knew of the great nation of Alleg, and they gave birth to the Crystal Tower, which was shaped by his hand. Therefore, he knows what the tower can and cannot do. To pull us across space and time in possession of our flesh is a feat not even he could do. Does Emmett truly want to know who he is? He is the adjudicator of the sacred history which he dared trifle. He is the keeper of this tower's boundless wisdom, the wisdom of ages without age, of everywhere and nowhere, the great work of those who tamed the wings of time and grasped the rift. 'Tis born of the brave heroes who gave their lives for a brighter future. He will not see their hopes and dreams squandered. The history which led us here will be unwritten. He promises him that. It seems like they can agree on one thing, that they are both eager to fulfill their duties. We return to Twine, and the Talos is in tip-top condition. Even Magnus is seen working on it. He was ready to give it all up. A part of him wanted to believe that it wouldn't work, but upon seeing it move, he couldn't ignore it any longer. He will make sure this Talos is kept in the best condition it can, for Agna and Skuli. Before we depart, Minfilia hands Thancred his new ammunition, along with the practice cartridge she had been imbuing every day. She doesn't really know what it will do, but hopes it will serve as a good luck charm. All that is left to do is take the trolley to Nabaath Areng. Urianger will stay behind and instead move to the eastern side of Amh Areng and convene with Alisaie and the others to inform them of our progress thus far. The door to Nabaath Areng will stay open until someone manually closes it. Therefore, they can join us there once they've given the Ul'Morans the slip. We say our farewells, and the Talos pushes us onward. The trolley eventually reaches the door that leads to Nabaath Areng, but behind that door is Ranjit. He kicks the trolley and the Talos off of the tracks, knocking all of us onto the floor. With the help of his familiar, Gukumats, he was able to escape the abyss that lay in the Great Pyramid Uxne. He was waiting for us here, as he knew we would seek this place. Thankfully, we did not disappoint. If we had only sworn fealty to Lord Vorthry, then none of this would have happened. Instead, we chose to fight, and this is the outcome. He commands Minfilia to stay down and wait for him to finish off these villains. No, she won't let him. She forgets who she is speaking to, who armed her, trained her, fought and killed thousands of Sin-Eaters with her, and when she was cut down and lay lifeless in his arms, who sought her successor to carry on this futile struggle again and again. He seeks to bring peace to what is left of this shattered land, whereas these villains only bring further chaos. Do not be deceived. Only by Lord Vorthri's hand will this dying world know a sliver of salvation. She does not know about this world, but she never asked to be saved. No matter how much it hurts, no matter how hard it gets, it's her life, and she wants to live it on her own terms. And those villains he wants her to abandon, the ones she's traveled with, fought with, and may die with, they all feel the same. She is not being deceived no matter what he says. She refuses to believe that everything has been for nothing. We are everything to her, all she has and all she could ever need, and she will gladly do anything for us. She gives him an ultimatum: let us pass or kill her. She is not leaving without us. Very well, if she casts her lots with villains, then she shall share their fate. Ranjit lunges towards her, but Thancred intercepts him, knocking him away. He looks over his shoulder. I heard what you said, and he is sorry for all the things he have left unspoken. He calls for us to leave, now. He will handle Ranjit. He won't have her waste her newfound resolve on him. He will leave her in our care. Now go, do what you came to do. We tell Minfilia to come along. She is reluctant to abandon him, but decides that it's for the best. Ranjit watches us leave and tries to stop us, but is again intercepted by Thancred. Not another step. Ranjit's fight is with him. Does he think he is her protector? Ha! As if a whelp like him could be a better father to her. He summons Gukumats, and the battle begins. Thancred will do whatever it takes to end him. He may have lied and kept secrets from her, but no more. She deserves better. What? A life of pain, of ceaseless conflict and despair. Ranjit combines with his familiar Gukumats, and together they become one. He brandishes the dragon's tail as if it were a scythe, and the hide of Gukumats turns into armor to defend him. Together they will rend his foes and ward his blows. So Ranjit really is a monster. It's better to be a monster than to be a deceiver, a spinner of foolish dreams and false hope. There is no folly in hope. Ranjit has also said such a thing once, but he was wrong. Never again. When will he learn that hope is useless? He summons 4 dragon heads, each one aiming for Thancred. There is no way out of this situation, except he has a way. He uses an ability known as perfect deception. It completely conceals one's presence by severely restricting the flow of life-sustaining ether. It places a huge amount of strain on the body, so he needs to act fast. He approaches Ranjit in this mode and uses the cartridge Minfilia imbued for him. It deals a mighty blow, one that stops Ranjit in his tracks, but it is not enough. The fight continues on, and Thancred is forced into the same situation again, and survives it the same way. But on the 3rd time, Ranjit has seen through his tricks and knows exactly where he is. He has played his hand far too early. Thancred has to play his final trump card, one last deadly disappearing act. He activates soul-deep invisibility. He conceals his own presence by temporarily severing the flow of life-sustaining ether. This form will only last 30 seconds. If he does not reach Ranjit in this time, he will die. He harnesses the power of the practice cartridge Minfilia gave to him as a good luck charm, and with it he deals a blow to Ranjit not even he can withstand. It forces the fusion between him and Gukumats to disperse. He huffs and pants. We would have Minfilia suffer and die. He wants to spare her of that fate. But it is not up to him or anyone else to decide anymore. It is her life, and she can do whatever she wants with it. Gukumat wraps around him, and together they teleport away from the scene. It was taking Thancred everything he could just to stay stood up. He immediately collapses on the floor, breathing sporadically. He gazes at the sky.
Not a single day goes by that I don't think about all that you have given me. Countless memories. And moments I took for granted. Gods, you grew up so fast. But you had to, didn't you? For those you had lost. For those you could yet save. A world teetering on the very brink of oblivion. For which you gave your everything. Without hesitation. Your kindness. Your compassion. Your love. Then and now. One last time, with a little help. I'm so proud to have been a part of your life. Oh, Minfilia.
Elsewhere, we have made it to Nabaath Areng, the place where the flood was stopped. It is time for her to confront it head-on. Our echo activates and we are given a vision. The people are fleeing from the flood, and one of them spots Minfilia trying to stop it. With her power alone, it is not enough. But then Ardbert's comrades sacrifice themselves to empower her. First Brandon, then Render Ray, followed by Neilbert, and finally Lamit. When it reaches Ardbert's turn to sacrifice himself, Minfilia stops him, telling him it's not yet his turn to die. When all hangs in the balance, it is he who must give us hope. The vision ends here, and we awake in an endless lake of light. In front of us is the Minfilia. We stay out of the conversation and allow the two Minfilias to talk. Their meeting was long overdue, but she is glad that they may finally speak. Her burden is too much for anyone to bear. She has endured such pain and suffering. She has lost count of all the times she had almost given up. If it weren't for the people around her, she would have never made it. And yet here she stands resolved. Tell her your heart's desires. To defeat the Sin Eaters and bring this world back from the brink. The Wardens remain in hiding, but with the power of the Oracle, she could find them. The power she asks for will come at a price. We now stand at a crossroads, and she must make the choice. The flood has washed away so many possibilities out of the world, yet the Scions kept forging ahead, trying to help those who remain. They work tirelessly and are committed to the cause. She cannot help but believe in it. She wants to do more than watch and cheer. She wants to make a difference. She wants to help us like we helped her. She wants to inspire others to do the same. Coming together, providing for one another, that is the only way forward she can see. Since all of our heroes are gone, we'll just have to make heroes of ourselves. 'Tis a beautiful, wonderful dream, one they share. Her power was nearly spent staying the flood, but she had hoped that this final act would give hope to those who survived. That hope now lives on in her. It comforts her to know that the future is in capable hands. If she ever falters, remember this. No one is immune to the whisperings of doubt and despair. Do not give in to them, but do not deny them. Instead, look into the light within and continue to be a beacon for others. She looks at us and thanks us for keeping her safe all this time. We are a hero to both of them, but she has some words for us. Not even the most valiant of heroes can stand alone. Only together may we change the fate of two worlds. The vision ends, and we awake to see Minfilia still on the floor. We wake her up. Neither of us knows what happened after the vision. We notice that her eyes and hair are a different color. Her hair has turned red, and her eyes have turned pale blue. We are to assume that this is her original look, restored to her as a parting gift from Minfilia. She has only walked the path that was set before all Minfilias, but now she has given her a new path to walk all on her own. Even though she is gone, she can still feel her presence. She can now feel the beating heart of this world, and the light that swells within it, including the Lightwarden, here in Amh Areng. We don't think Thancred will be mad at her, will he? It's what Minfilia wanted. I'm sure he understands. She asks us to go on ahead. She won't tread too far behind. She just needs some time to think. We return to where Ranjit stopped us, and we find Thancred surrounded by the rest of the Scions. He looks absolutely terrible. When they found him, he was at death's door, and if it wasn't for Urian J, he might have gone through it. Minfilia is hiding behind the trolley, afraid to step out. Thancred notices her, and then she gains the courage to take the first step, revealing her new appearance to everybody. She knows she hasn't been as useful as the rest of us, but starting now, it's all going to change. She'll do whatever it takes to make Minfilia's dream come true. She can track the Lightwardens now, maybe even help us fight them. Thancred works up the energy to stand on his feet. He shuffles over to her and pats her on the head. He's glad that she's back. He doesn't have to say that, you know, but he wants to. She is family. How else would he feel? Those words are something she's been wanting to hear all along. Tears well up in her eyes and roll down her face, but these are tears of joy. Y'shtola demands that she be given a new name. She doesn't want her walking in the shadow of another. It will be a way to pay tribute to our dear departed friend. If anyone is to come up with a name, it would be Thancred. He is basically her father. He thinks long and hard, and eventually settles on the name Reen. It means blessing in Fae. She likes the sound of it, and thanks him for giving her a name. Now Reen can start her own life with her own goals, wants, and needs. It is a new beginning, and one she will start by showing how useful the Oracle's power is. She may not be able to harness the power of the Oracle quite yet, but she can see the Lightwarden from here. It is hiding underground, somewhere to the west, in a place known as Malikah's Well. Mourning the loss of her beloved, the Queen of Nabaath Areng commanded a great well be built in his memory, its waters offering respite from the sweltering heat. In more recent years, the well was transformed into an excavation site by the miners of Amh Areng. It has long since fallen into disuse, yet the presence of light emanating from within is unmistakable. What horrors await at the trolley track's end, in the depths of this massive reservoir? We push through the numerous halls of Malikah's well, and eventually Reen can feel the Lightwarden's presence strongly. The light has scorched the nearby walls of all life, turning it into the purest white. We come face to face with the Lightwarden of Amh Areng, believed to have arisen from the corrupted essence of a sprite or a fairy. The entity named for familial love made its lair in Malikah's well. Legends tell that Storge feasted upon the memories infused within its domain, upon a queen's adulation for her dear departed king. We defeat it, and as we usually do, we allow the Lightwarden's ether to enter us, but this time it isn't as simple. Our ether fluctuates, causing us immense pain, almost spilling out. This means that Y'shtola was right. We aren't negating it at all. It is being absorbed into our being. Elsewhere in Amh Areng, Thaf, Magnus, and Jerick are all seen working on the trolley and the Talos, trying to repair the damage done by Ranjit. Luckily, the heart is in one piece. They can repair any damage done on the outside with ease. Their conversation is interrupted as they notice the light in the sky is waning and it reveals the sunless sea that lies beneath. We exit Malikah's well and look to the sky. Overhead we see the Yulmoran airships fleeing out of Amh Areng. The only place left tainted by the light is Colusia. They are the only obstacle left standing between us and saving the first. We know Vorthri will do everything he can to stop us. Reen asks if we are okay. After we defeated the Lightwarden, she could have sworn that she saw its ether. Never mind, it's probably nothing. Perhaps we should head back to the Crystarium and report our escapades to the Exarch. We could all do with a little rest. Y'shtola takes note that Reen could see what happens to us after we defeat a Warden too. This triggers her to ask both Reen and us to meet with her in the Crystarium. She confirms with her that she was able to see our ether thanks to the power of the Oracle. When we defeated the Lightwarden, we absorbed it. The light within us has grown monstrous. Then it is as we suspected. How are we feeling? We go to answer her, but suddenly the light within us surges, bringing back the immense pain from before. If nothing is done, then it will only get worse. At best, Reen might be able to suppress what is happening, but not extinguish it. It seems like we will have to rely on Urian J and his secrets. The next battle will be the last, and we will need all of our strength. She will discuss strategy with the others and make sure that everything is ready for our departure. We are to return to our room and rest. We see Ardbert gazing at the sunless sea. We had wondered where he had been hiding all of this time. Sometimes the dead would rather not be disturbed, but enough about him. What of Amh Areng? We have slain the Lightwarden, and Minfilia is gone. There is now only Reen. With Minfilia gone, he will never know why he must suffer this purgatory. The light within us surges once more, trying to break through our hold on it. We fall to our knees in pain. Ardbert reaches out towards us, and a blinding light appears at his fingertips. He retracts his hand in pain, but him touching us has ceased the light within. He examines himself, wondering what has just happened. Then we remember Minfilia's words. Not even the most valiant heroes can stand alone. She had said that his time had not yet come, that he still had a part to play in all of this, but he refuses to believe it. There can only be one hero in this room, and it definitely isn't him. He is a shadow that is cursed to wander, nothing more. There is a sudden knock at our door, and as we turn back around to face Ardbert, he is gone. It is the Exarch. He had heard of our condition and was worried. Are we okay? Actually, no. The pain had just returned, and it took some time to pass. He is glad to see that the pain at least passed. He would not want to see us suffer. Full well does he know how much we have suffered on their behalf. He has no right to impose on us any further, but he does have one thing to ask of us. To survive this, no matter what. When everything is said and done, we must return to our world, for there are battles to come and wars yet unwon. The final Lightwarden is all that stands between us and victory. There is much to be done, but he will see if there is any kind of remedy for this strange affliction which ails us. When the Warden is dead, will his work finally be done? Yes, once the light is gone, the people of the Crystarium will be safe. The future that we are fighting for will come to pass. He will not keep us from our rest any longer. Take as much time as we need. While sleeping, our echo activates, giving us a dream. It is in the first-person perspective. This person is reading the memoirs of Count Edmond de Fortemps, detailing the final days of the Dragonsong War. They speak to themselves. No, this isn't right. It would need to be later. After the liberation of Alamigo, perhaps. A sudden shockwave hits the building, and it reveals that the room he is standing in is in tatters, almost as if all of those who were present in House Fortemps are gone. A gun-toting compatriot, who kinda looks like Biggs, asks him if he has finished. They have to leave now. If they don't, they will be upon them. Very well, where to next then? Let's just worry about getting out of the city and pray that the airship is all in one piece. Anywhere we go from here will just be more of the same. Is there nothing else we can do? Look around you. This isn't war. It's a sickness that has spread to every corner of Eorzea. The city-states are in disarray, and the Far East is faring no better. There will be nothing left when this is all over. This world is beyond saving. He never tires of that story, when the hero swoops in, riding a white dragon, to save a little girl. He could die happy, knowing that someone like that was still around. Indeed, but not today. Not while our message remains undelivered. Have faith, my friend. We will find him. We awake from our vision. unclear as to whether that was the past or the future. Still, we think nothing of it. We glance at our room and see that it's the same as ever. Ardbert is still not around. We get out of bed and head out the door.